This is 4-year-old Cash Gernon, and there are a lot of theories floating around the internet right now. First, we're going to cover what we know, and then we will talk about some of those theories. Cash was 4 years old and he had a twin brother named Carter. He lived in Dallas, Texas for a period of time, and this is where his death took place. Based on interviews, Cash and Carter have been in that home since Valentine's Day of 2021. In March of 2021, his dad fled because he had outstanding warrants. Cash and his brother were living in a home with his dad's girlfriend, Monica Sherrod. Her children, Cameron, who's 18, Matthew, 15, Landon, 14, and Emily, 16. They were living at 7527 Florina Parkway. On May 15th at 5 a.m., Cash was taken from his bed that he was sharing with his twin brother by a man identified as Darren Brown, who's 18. Darren lived in the neighborhood and was known by Cameron. He was not a stranger. This is a video from a baby video system that shows Darren entering the boys' room and staring at the kids, and he swiftly picks up Cash and leaves. Between 6:40 and 6:55 a.m., various times have been reported, a jogger came upon Cash's body in the street only blocks from Cash's home. She immediately called it in, and she stayed with him until the police arrived. Just before 7 a.m., Darren reappears on the baby video camera and is staring at Carter for a while, but he doesn't pick him up. It's light outside, and you can see Darren more clearly in this video. He doesn't appear to be sneaking around as you'd think an intruder would. He doesn't seem to be trying to be quiet at all. When he walks off camera, you can clearly hear his feet hitting the floor under him. I found that strange. It leads me to two thoughts. One, he's mentally ill and wasn't concerned about being caught. Or two, he was welcomed in that home and no one would have panicked seeing him there, so he wasn't concerned at all. This is from the Nextdoor app, and it is a still from a video of Darren. Somebody saying someone posted a video of this guy breaking in. That is a hammer in his hand, maybe about to break the camera. This lady says this guy's been terrorizing our neighborhood for weeks and no one took his threats serious. He kept breaking cameras and property with his hammer and threatening families that he was coming at night to kill them. We voiced our concerns and it was not taken seriously. This post says, the picture posted of the youngster who is charged with kidnapping the 4-year-old is the same person who broke into my house in February of 2021 and tried to kidnap my granddaughter and assaulted me. So that's very concerning. The police were aware, they mishandled the call, and they did nothing about this whatsoever. So what we know about Darren. His mother said he was receiving mental health treatment. He has been seen on Ring doorbells terrorizing the neighborhood. He broke into someone's home and assaulted them and tried to kidnap a little girl in February of 2021. He was also arrested in April of 2021. He was in a stolen car and he was scouting out homes. So this kid is obviously troubled. He's been in trouble, and because he wasn't charged and locked up, he was out and free and able to do what he did to Cash. This is Monica Sherrod, the girlfriend. We're going to listen to the interview she did with the Daily Mail.
He's a happy baby. Yeah. eager to learn. He's very eager when he wants to know how to read so bad. He always said, "What's that say? And what's that say? And what's that say?" Oh man, he was a very happy child. Very, very, very happy. And he was, like I said, eager to learn. He loved bugs. I don't like bugs. Cash would chase me with bugs. And he thought it was funny. Cash was more outspoken than Carter. Cash was the leader. He was the one that showed Carter how to do everything. Carter's a smart boy. Cash was the one that was brave enough to follow through. Cash was he loved school. He loved, like I said, reading. He loved books. He used to read to them every night. And he always read the same book over and over again. Yes. His dinosaur. He was a dinosaur. It was given to him by my son Landon. And Cash, I have so many videos and pictures of him running around the house with a dinosaur. He really missed here very much. Very much so. Cash was like my husband. Yeah. I woke up a little late because, like I said, Cash didn't wake me up. Cash is normally the one that wakes me up. In the morning, we get up about 7. We eat the breakfast and then we get ready for school. That's what they called it. And we'd sit at the table and do our ABCs and our sheets and our colors, and then I'd let them go play, and then we'd do lunch and then naps. The day that he was missing, I got up late and I thought it was weird. It was kind of like, it's 10 o'clock, you guys, already. You waited late to wake mommy up, so I figured Cash was still in bed. My son who walked in the room and said, "Where's Cash at, Carter?" Because they're never separate, they don't separate. And Carter goes, "He went outside, he went out front." So we believed Carter, you know what I'm saying? And so my boys started looking for him, and I started screaming, "Cash, if you're hiding from mommy, it's not funny anymore. Come out, it's time for breakfast." He wouldn't answer, so I called 911. Yes, they went all the way around the block. My boys did. They went all the way up this alleyway. They walked all the way down to the little corner, yelling for Cash. And he wasn't answering, and I knew something was wrong. Something. In my mind, I knew. So I called 911 and told them I couldn't find Cash. And they said, "When did I notice he was gone?" I said, "Immediately when I got up, when Carter woke me up." We noticed Cash was gone, and I didn't even think about their surveillance system. When we were at the detective's office, my son, I was crying and I was confused and like in a million pieces and praying God they would still find Cash, and that little boy wasn't Cash. I kept telling my daughter, "That's not Cash." And she said, "Mommy, it has to be. Nobody else is close to the baby." And I said, "No, it's not Cash." And when my son had went into his interview, Matthew was the last to be interviewed, he remembered all of a sudden, "Mom has cameras." And I when you're going through something like that, you don't think about all of that. All you think about is your baby that's missing. And when they said, "Mom has cameras," I rewind the cameras, and there he was, the boy taking my son out of his bed. I freaked out. I'm sure my kids heard me. I was devastated. I started screaming because my daughter kept telling me, "Mom, somebody did this. Mom, somebody did this to our baby." And I'm like, "No, they didn't. He's going to be found. They're going to find him." And they did. They did do it. They took him. Why would they hurt him? He was 4. He was like this big. Like he was so little. He wasn't even the size of a 4-year-old. He was so tiny. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. I can't. Yeah. Looks like all it's gonna go back that way. Everyone's gonna see it. No clue he was even taken. I thought Cash got out. I thought he got out the front door. So we all did. My son Ken and my son Matthew were looking for him. And when 2 minutes into it, I called 911 because I realized he didn't just get out. We couldn't find him. Somebody took him or something. So
The door is right here, as you can see, it doesn't have a latch on it, so we use a chain there to lock it up. And that's where he came in. He lifted the door up, and right here, as you can see, it's been kicked in or tampered with, if you would call it. And he made his way through here while we were all asleep. Quiet, I guess. I don't know. I know we heard him around here. And into here. This is where the boys slept. This is where they were sleeping that night. They slept in the bed. He just came in. Just stood over him. Just watched him. The cameras are here. Directly at the crew. Watching. They just picked him up. Took him back that way. And carried him. Just like carried him. Went back this way and just took him back out that way. And from there,
Here's what we know so far. The twins lived in the home since February 14th, 2021. Trevor, the dad, has been missing since sometime in March of 2021. Monica has been caring for the boys. Darren knew Cameron from school, and Darren had been treated for mental health issues. He had been in the home 2 days prior, and he also has an arrest record. So I want to read you guys something. There are a ton of internet posts speculating about this case, of course. This always happens in true crime cases. There's a lot of what happened, what's going on. People are distraught because this is a 4-year-old baby. But what I decided to include in here is a statement or post from someone who knows her, someone who knew Monica. Monica is the girlfriend of Trevor, okay? Monica is a deranged and criminally insane person. She dated a family member of mine up until a year ago. No relation to the victim in this case. She brought nothing but drama and trouble to my family. She would show up at my family's house, strung out on God knows what. When my family member attempted to break it off, she showed up with a gun, threatening to shoot herself, subsequently firing off the gun and almost hitting bystanders. She constantly got pregnant and miscarried. Now, she puts those in quotes because every time they would break up, even after disclosing with me that she had her tubes tied, so she wasn't pregnant nor was she miscarrying, she would purposely wreck vehicles and tell my family I was just so distraught with him breaking up with me, so I lost control of the wheel. It was abusive and manipulative behavior to keep him around. When he was hospitalized in the ICU following a car wreck, she took off with his wallet and stimulus check. He was scared and said it's not even worth going after her if it keeps her away from me. He was happy to hear she was with someone new. We all were. I was very kind and warm towards her at first. She is very good at playing a victim, and that's how she painted herself to the family. I did get a picked on little sparrow vibe, but that was overlooked. I even took into consideration that she may suffer from Munchausen syndrome. When she opened up and told me that her husband killed himself, I had a soft spot because I too had lived through a similar tragedy. She had also mentioned that her newborn baby had died from SIDS a few years ago, and she was traumatized from the investigation until this day. She used fabricated stories of adversity to prey on my family's heartstrings. This went on for years, until one day she arrived at my family's house, where I was spending the weekend with my grandmother, and stole a sentimental bracelet out of one of the guest rooms where I was staying. My grandmother didn't want to believe it, and neither did I, until I saw a post on Facebook Market where she was selling it for $50. When confronted, she denied it, and the conversation got heated, and it escalated to her saying she was going to slit my throat. When my family member wanted out of the relationship, Monica's mother texted my grandmother telling him that he will be sorry for hurting her daughter's feelings. Monica hijacked his Facebook, attacked all of the women on his friends list, telling everyone they were married and changing her last name to his. No, they were never married. The whole family is full of lunacy. They claim to be the famous Pinkertons and frequently threaten people with the "do you know who I am?" scare tactic. There's no doubt in my mind that she had something to do with that little boy's death. She was always scamming and robbing people. If she's the same Monica as last year, I think this was one of her get-rich-quick schemes gone wrong. My heart breaks for this baby and his brother. Reading this story makes me sick. However, I have desensitized feelings towards junkies and lack of sympathy. I have dealt with a fair share of them. As far as the biological parents go, I hope this is an eye-opener for them to get their shit together. There are perfectly capable women struggling with infertility who would love and cherish the likes of these beautiful children and make wonderful parents. It's such a slap in the face to see stories like this, etc. Okay, so there was another post about a Matthew Sherrod who passed away at 26 years old. People were speculating that perhaps she did something because nobody can find the boy's dads. So, the same person who knows him says he committed suicide. So she again explains that Monica used to date someone in her family. She goes on to say he's still terrified of her. She tries to contact him and he blocks her. She tried to sue the city of Old Town Spring because her baby died of SIDS in his carrier. This lady also believes the mother is heavily involved. She's doing damage control. But they're a bad family, she says. Here we go. They have always been that way. Her son Cameron, who we know now is 18, right? When he was 14, he tried to burn down a rented beach house with my family in it because he thought it would be fun. They're scary. She groomed her kids to be like her. So, she was around the children in our family. She told us her dad was deceased. Today I found out he's alive. She told my family that her dad died when she was a baby. Now I know that's just to get attention. Here's what I wanted to include. This was the exchange of messages from her in 2018. I censored family members' names out of respect. They don't want any association with her. She was so problematic and difficult to get rid of. They are sick about the fact that they allowed her in their home. She is actually one of the reasons I carry. For the record, I don't do meth. I never have. And my grandmother never said that. Monica was grasping at straws and attempting to use manipulation tactics and pit everyone against each other. That says, it's hard to see it on here, hold on. FUB, I've been sober for 3 effing years. You don't know me. You're the crackhead of the family because Grandma told me. You should talk to her. She gave me that bracelet. Ellie replies, I'm not understanding what you're saying. I just want my bracelet back. It was a gift from my boss and it has sentimental value. I'm asking you nicely. Monica replies, it was a gift from Grandma and blank. I ain't giving you my birthday present. You can come get it off my arm because I want to see you try. Ha ha ha, you suck D. Whore. Really couldn't edit that one out, sorry. Ellie says, is that supposed to be a threat? I don't threat. It's a goddamn promise. You come around me and blank, I will bash your head on the wall and laugh while you bleed all over the place. You don't know me and the people I know. Just a warning. Watch your back, whore. So that's one. Any idea why her last name was Brown? Because it's Brown in the text messages. Yes, it's my family name and the surname of a member of my family that she was obsessed over. When he broke it off with her, she took over his Facebook and claimed to be married to him. She would tell everyone she was pregnant, and then he would take her back, and she claimed she lost the baby. She did this many times. She made Facebook profiles for him. He's not so active on social media anymore for that reason, and linked them as married, even when he wasn't in contact with her. When he eventually moved on and started dating other girls, she would go after them, saying she was his wife, in order to sabotage his relationships. We were all freaked out over it and very confused when she mentioned that she had been in a relationship with Cash's father for 2 years. Monica does have a felony history of possession. She's also been arrested during a traffic stop. She did not have her driver's license. It was suspended. They did find her inside her purse syringes with methamphetamines in them. So she was arrested on those charges. It seems the latest one was 2019. I don't see anything else after that. So now I'm trying to make sense out of Trevor, the dad. This is April 5th, 2020. Stay home, it could save lives. Obviously, that's in regards to coronavirus. The rumors are that they've been together for 2 years, but I've never heard her say that. I heard that they knew each other for 2 years, and my speculation is that they just started dating, maybe in January of 2021. The reason is because of these posts here. This is from October, the end of October of 2020. So we know he was dating somebody else, and based on the text messages or the post from Facebook that I read, she was in a several year relationship all the way up until 2020 with somebody else. So it is concerning that Trevor left his children with this lady who does have a criminal past, who's alleged to be an active meth user, in a home that he had only been in himself for 1 month, February 14th until sometime in March. Trevor has quite a criminal history as well, from possession to unauthorized use of a vehicle, to theft by check, to fraudulent possession, to assault of a family member, theft of firearms, and more possession. Of the twins, it's her mother, so the twins' grandmother, Connie. This guy, I don't know what she's replying to, some photos 6 weeks ago on the internet. This guy is now on the run with my 4-year-old twin grandsons. There was a warrant out for his arrest. He's been gone since 3/26/2021. He did not show up for his court date on a possession charge. So they knew 6 weeks ago that he was gone. My assumption, based on what this says, he's on the run with my 4-year-old twin grandsons. So they think he still has the babies. They don't think that he just abandoned them and left them with his girlfriend. Now, people have been asking, well, why wasn't there a missing persons report? I think there wasn't a missing persons report because of this. 11/16/2020, he, Trevor, took Melinda, the mother, to court for child support. So I'm guessing he had full custody of them. So she probably couldn't file a missing persons report. She just knew that he didn't show up for court and was allegedly on the run somewhere with the kids. That's my best guess on this part. And she didn't know that he literally was on the run from everybody and left his children at this home with Monica. So there have been some rumors that possibly Cameron is either one, involved, or two, he's the picture on the left. Some people feel like Darren looks too light in the black and white picture and that it's actually Cameron. This is a better photo and it kind of shows his hair more. And of course, I still think that it's Darren. I don't think that it's Cameron at all. And this is an even better picture. This is pretty close up. That's definitely not Cameron. That is Darren. Now, do I think that possibly there's much more to this story than we're being told? Yeah, I do. I think that it was an extremely dysfunctional house. The father failed these children tremendously. He left them in the care of somebody he barely knew. The woman he left them with has, drug use charges. I've been around a lot of people on drugs in my life, and in her video, it seems to me that she's actively using. She does not look sober. People may say that that's her being in shock or something, but honestly, to me, she looked like she was using. The father, I don't know. It seemed as though he was a, this normal guy in these photographs, and that's all we know of him, are photographs, right? He has an extensive criminal history. He's had possession of guns, possession of drugs. He's assaulted his family. So was he this wonderful, upstanding person? We don't know that. We know what we do know. And that's really all we know. So everybody failed these kids. Everybody. Why was Trevor given custody of the children? We don't know that either. There's got to be documentation out there that shows why. Was Melinda seen to be an unfit mother? Or because she's a truck driver, was she given custody of the children? We just don't know. So that part is still up in the air. I'm sure more will come out about that. As far as Darren goes, we know this guy was a menace in his neighborhood. We know he tried to grab another child. There's something clearly mentally unstable about this person. The other cameras that were in the house, I'm sure the police have those and aren't releasing everything, and we'll find out more about that soon. One other thing that I forgot to mention, a tissue paper in the bathroom had blood drops on it, and a small pocket knife was also seized. I don't know if those things had anything to do with Cash. They may have. We're just not 100% sure at this time. Maybe as more information comes out, we'll know more. The other thing, I did a walkthrough of the house on Realtor.com, and people were speculating that the boys were in a sunroom. It's not actually a sunroom, it's like the back room, and it leads to the outside. There's a regular door that leads to the outside. It does have these strange sliding doors. I don't really know. Maybe it's just an older home. But the state of that house is absolutely despicable. It looks like a drug den. It it just looks horrible. I don't know how any father who loves his children could put himself above them and leave them in such a place. Um, of course, Darren is to blame for this, and if he had people helping him, they are to blame. But quite a bulk of this, in my opinion, sits squarely on Trevor's shoulders. Now, the conspiracy theorist in me says, did she do something to him? Did something happen that she doesn't want to talk about? How could he not come out of the shadows and be upset and be on television and talking about this? I don't know. I don't know any father, unless he's completely strung out on drugs somewhere, who would not have come forward yet. Now, the reason I say conspiracy theorist is because I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute here. She imitated her ex boyfriend. She took over his Facebook. She was making crazy posts. She took on his last name. She was doing all of this psychotic stuff. Could she have done something to Trevor? Does she know what happened to Trevor? I mean, I get, those are all questions that we have and we don't have answers to yet. So I guess we're just going to wait and see, what happens. And we'll be following it, and I'll be chatting about it live now that I've put my video up. I'd like to hear what people have to say. I know I stated that I'm against accusing people without knowing for sure, just because I've seen that go wrong in so many cases. And, with mental health such as it is, especially this year in COVID, we've just got some responsibility in being careful with our words. So everybody have a great day, and I will see you guys later.